right here, okay? We went over things like citizens yesterday in the vocab chart, or Tuesday on the vocab chart. So now we'll read. Okay, I'll read the top part, kind of intro, and then what we'll do is popcorn read the rest of this. So just follow along with me on page 12. We're looking for the answer for the question on the top of page 13. What's the purpose of the Bill of Rights? Why do we even have it? Okay, so here we go. In 1787, the United States of America was new. It had 13 states. Each state chose people to meet in Philadelphia. They wrote the Constitution to set rules for how the United States governs itself. Perfect, right? Kind of like from the launch video. But the Constitution was missing something. It did not include individual rights. In 1791, founding father James Madison drafted several amendments. Again, one of those words we went over, changes. 10 of these became the Bill of Rights. They state the basic freedoms of all Americans. And so I think, yeah, we'll probably snake through here. So Luis, why don't you read me, it says Amendment 1, it's the third section. Yeah, really popular one, right? First Amendment, we've got religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Okay, Angel, read that next one for us.
The Second Amendment guarantees Americans the right to bear arms or own guns.
Yeah, right to bear arms, right? Own guns, Second Amendment. Perfect. Hector, read us Amendment 3, Section 5.
The Third Amendment prevents the government from forcing citizens to shoulder soldiers and their arms.
Yeah, so the Third Amendment says the government can't tell you that, let's say, like the army soldier has to live in your house. They can't make you do that. Abdul, let's do Amendment 4.
The Fourth Amendment protects the privacy of Americans. It prevents unnecessary or unreasonable research of a person's property.
Yeah, unreasonable searches. So let's say like the police can't just search you because you're wearing a hairnet. You know what I mean?
You gotta have a search warrant.
They gotta have a search warrant. Exactly. Yeah, so this is the shorter version. In the longer version, it talks about that, like the search warrants. Amendment 5, Pizarro. Oh, yeah, right. So two things, right? You are guaranteed that if they do have a search warrant, you get to go to court. But then they also say you can't say anything against yourself, right? So you couldn't say something in court. You could protect yourself saying something that might make you guilty of a crime, right? This example I always give is like, let's say I witnessed Alyssa robbing the bank. Okay, I'm across the street, and now we're on trial in court. Alyssa was robbing the bank. Okay, and why did I see her? Because I was across the street robbing the McDonald's. Okay, so if they ask me like, well, where were you when you saw Alyssa robbing the bank? Right, I'm a witness, and I said, well, I don't want to answer that, because if I answer that, I go, oh, well, actually, I was across the street robbing the McDonald's. Then I get myself in trouble. So it's called double jeopardy. This one's very confusing to some people, but you basically can't like self-snitch, right? Just like, I'll just plead the Fifth Amendment. Alyssa, you get Amendment 6. What's that word that we just went over? Guarantee?
Oh, guarantee.
Guarantee, yeah, right? So a speedy trial. And again, in the video, they talked about how that was kind of up to the court to decide anyway, like what's a speedy trial. But you basically can't get arrested for something and maybe they leave you in prison for too long. You got to get your trial, all right? Abraham, Amendment 7, Section 9.
The Seventh Amendment guarantees the right to a trial by jury in civil or private legal cases where damages are more than $20, and civil cases solve disagreements between citizens.
Yeah, so these are kind of smaller things, maybe not a robbery or a murder or something like that, but it guarantees you get a right to, maybe even smaller cases. Amendment 8. Evelyn, why don't you read that one for us? Oh, I'm sorry, right here. Section 10. Yeah, you got it.
As criminal unreasonable bail or fines and cruel and unusual punishment are prohibited in the Eighth Amendment.
Good, and what does prohibited mean? It's not what?
Allowed.
Yeah, it's not allowed, okay? So unreasonable fines. So again, let's say, Abdul was jaywalking and the police give him a fine. They can't fine him, I don't know what's unreasonable, $1 million for jaywalking, okay? And also cruel and unusual punishment. Those things are not allowed under the Eighth Amendment. But again, what the video said was, who really decides what's cruel and unusual? It might be a little different for some people. Shayla, Amendment 9. Good. So remember, all of this goes back to, these are individual rights for the people. And so the Ninth Amendment says, look, this Constitution is not everything, right? You have rights that aren't listed, right? Just because someone didn't write it down doesn't mean you don't have that right. And then the 10th Amendment, and this is another one kind of like the Ninth Amendment, that's for the people. The 10th Amendment says, again, the powers not given to the U.S. government by the Constitution belong to the states or the people. All right, so again, just because, or if something's not given to the U.S. government by the Constitution, then states get to rule on that one. All right, and so like I guess a touchy subject, but this came out when I was doing summer school with the juniors, was the Roe versus Wade, right? Like the Supreme Court ruling on abortion, and what they really did was they said, look, the federal government doesn't get to decide, so they kicked it back to the states, and that's what the 10th Amendment is. They said, look, under the 10th Amendment, the federal government shouldn't be deciding what people are doing, so
It's like having a jury in civil party and unity.
okay, good. Another way is by having a jury, again, we were just talking about that, so it's perfect. A jury in civil, private, and legal cases. So again, you get the jury. It's about 12 people, and they all have to decide, right? Guilty or not guilty. You get a jury. What's another one? Okay, we have fair and legal trial. We got trial by jury. There's maybe one or two more. Abraham, give us one. You got one? Are those your two? How about Amendment 6? What's Amendment 6 say? The trial has to be what?
Right to
Speedy.
trial.
Yeah, it's gotta be quick. It's gotta be quick. Alright? Guaranteeing everyone a fair, legal, and speedy trial. There you go. The things you guys are saying. Prohibiting. Here we go. Alright, this is the one I talked about, probably applies, right? Amendment 8. Again, if you don't have this, you have your own answers, that's fine. No unreasonable bail or fines. Right? Unreasonable meaning like that's a ridiculous amount to fine someone. Or cruel and unusual punishment. Alright, let's do some syllable work, and then we'll get into the lab and reading rotations for the rest of the class. Alright. So pay attention to this. It's just a couple basic steps with the syllables. Alright, read words with open syllables. Syllables that end with a vowel are called open syllables. The vowel sound is an open in an open syllable is usually long. Okay. So spot the vowels. The number of vowel spots tells the number of syllables. Alright. Split the word into syllables. So this is kind of what we're going to work with here. If a word has one consonant in the middle, try splitting it before the consonant. So our vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Everything else, consonant. Okay? So all they're saying is, see G is in the middle, or consonant. They're saying try to split it before the consonant. So read each syllable, then read the whole word. So here's what we're going to do. Two things. We're going to circle the vowel spots in each word, and then draw a line to split each word into syllables. All right? So we're going to do two things. We're going to circle, we're going to draw a line. Okay? Look back at, right, when you're thinking about how to split words, again, look at guarantee and prohibit on page 12. You can see where they split, the dots. And then even the work we did the other day on the vocab chart, even if you weren't here for the vocab chart, Abdul, you can still look at the word, and they're split. Amendment, censor. Okay, so you guys can check those out. We'll just do some syllable work. Again, some of the stuff that we see in the app. All right, so here we go. Here's where they drew the line for private. Okay, oh, let me get that up a little bit. Okay, so V is the consonant. It's right in the middle of the word, and so they say split it before the consonant. Private. So if you didn't have your line there, we'll make our line right there. Next one, basic. Okay. You circle that A. Basic. And then where would you draw a line in basic?
After it being
Yeah, after A, right? Between A and S. Yeah, you draw a line right there. Protect. Okay. Protect.
after pro, P-R-O.
You got it, sir. And then prevent. E is the vowel sound, so where would we draw that line? Probably between P-R-E and V. Yep, I'm drawing that line. All right. Let's see where we're at so I can set a timer for this. All right, here's what we're going to do. All right. Everyone will do the reading log today. Okay, but this section, you guys will start with reading. So we're done with the workbook for now. Okay, done with the Bill of Rights. We'll keep on with that. We'll read a news article about it. So you guys can grab your reading books right now. Okay, you guys grab your Chromebooks. If you don't have a Chromebook, they're right there. We'll do lab time. We'll do reading time, and then we'll split. Okay. Or we'll flip, I should say. So it's about 22. So we'll do about 10 minutes each, you guys. And after that 10 minutes, what I'll do is I will bring up the reading log.